What trends are you really seeing from Gen Z and younger generation?
When we talk about Gen Z, we're talking about on the youngest end, your 15, 16-year-olds that are in your current youth group, the oldest end, 28, 29-year-olds that are in your young adult ministry. As they would describe a biblical worldview, they're going to say only 4% of the entire generation, Gen Z, your 15-year-olds to your 29-year-olds,
Right.
only 4% would have what they would consider to be a biblical worldview.
4%.
Probably most applicable to those of us who are on the call, and we've heard these kind of numbers if you've been in youth ministry. Their most recent survey, they're going to suggest 64% of young people who have been raised in church. These aren't the ones who came in for a year and then left the faith. 64% of the students in broader just Christian culture who came up through a Sunday school program, sat in a youth program, they are leaving their faith within a few years of graduating high school. Okay? Wow. The other more than half, the majority, said no, the church is where spiritual formation should actually take place. Now, this is not all that surprising because when we think about broader culture, parents have been conditioned to outsource anything that is important to professionals. I'm going to trust somebody who is more qualified, who maybe has more experience, and I'm going to outsource discipleship and spiritual formation to the youth pastor, to the pastor. The challenge is that we have to reconcile that against the Bible. So, as youth workers, one of the questions that I think we need to be wrestling with today is it's not just as simple as how do I make my local church youth ministry better? You should be seeing how can we do things bigger and better and be more effective in our role of discipleship. But we can't stop there, okay? The bigger thing that I think we're wrestling with, I've kind of termed this in our local church, it's the 3 out of 168 dilemma. Okay, 168 hours in the week, 3 hours is about the amount of time that I have with our kids and with our young people during the course of the week. The statistic that they're putting out now is the average teenager they're suggesting is spending 8.5 hours a day on screen-based entertainment that's not related to school. Okay, wherever that may land, what that means is over the course of a year, the average teenager sitting in your youth group is likely spending 2,000 to 3,000 hours a year on screen-based entertainment. So I think as youth workers, we should be wrestling with the question, what does it look like to extend spiritual formation into the home throughout the week?